Okay, Dáil Eireann, can you give me a 5x5 and a sound check? I've got a new sound equipment here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me pull up the live chat. I can see you there, Dáil Eireann. How are we doing on the live chat? How are we doing on the sound? How is it? Up or down? Does it need more sound, more volume? Can you hear the background? Good quality? 5x5, happy days. Okay, I'm going to go up there now in a minute. We've got the March, I'll show you the camera view. How are you, Pádraig? I'm going to be going up there and I'm going to be talking with a few people. Just tell me, I've got some new sound, I've got a new mic there. So it sounds good, you can hear me. I've got some of the background turned off as well. We'll go up and talk to some of the folks. Hear me? I've got some of the background turned off as well. We'll go up and talk to some of the folks. I actually have someone here that's going to chat with us now on the way back up. Don't forget to smash the like button while you're here. And we'll talk to some of the folks in there. I think they just held up traffic. Want to go over and say hello? So this is the Grand Torino. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Hello, Jenny.
Jenny, pleasure
Nice
to meet you.
Hello.
This is the live chat on the Grand Torino. We're going to make our way up to the demonstration, but you were
passing the clamper.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, he's gone.
No, he's here.
Or was he keeping an eye? We'll have to wait. Well, he's there. We'll have to let him go. We can't go up there just yet because the clampers were there hovering around waiting for us. But we're going to get close. I'm going to show you the broadcast. Jenny, you were saying earlier on there was a doctor in Norwegian has refused to do the abortion. Yeah.
A doctor in Norway. Yeah, she's a Polish doctor, and she refused to do an abortion, and her employers, Polish doctor, and she refused to do an abortion, and her employers fired her, and then she took them to court. It went to the Supreme Court in Norway, and it was basically overturned. And basically, she won the case, which I think is, if I could say it like this, it's encouraging for the future generation that happened, because it does say that hopefully there's some
we'll go over there. I'm going to
good
spin it
talking
over
going
there.
on here, but I think this is too far.
Yeah.
Against people's freedom of choice and freedom of, like, their free will, people's free will. If you try to dictate to me that I should believe this and I should think this and I should say this, it's absolutely wrong. And this has to change, or we lose all our rights. Even those who think that their rights are not being respected, they will lose their rights if we go down this road. So there you go.
So it's the start, and it's another attack on the Constitution as well. When you think of family reunification coming up, you know, we've got our democratic rights. I'm going to turn around and show you show the people the demonstration. So we walk over here, Jenny. Look, try and get a better view.
We are being asked to change all that. Not asked. We are being forced.
Let me know if you can hear that.
The Minister for Health broke news to all healthcare workers through the media.
Should we go over and have a look?
Not by meeting with GPs, nurses, midwives and pharmacists to discuss our concerns, reservations and opposition. Instead, he presented it as a fait accompli on the airways. The government knew full well that doctors were not ready and willing to end the lives of unborn babies. They knew the answer they would get if they sat down with ordinary doctors, nurses and midwives to discuss the issue. So instead, they decided to make the decision for us without consultation. They know to this day the depth of opposition among medics that exists over what they are doing. They've seen the GP body surveys showing that of the 936 GPs who took part, 75% were opposed to a GP-led abortion regime. 75%. It's massive. And they are hearing the same from lots of other quarters daily. It is unconscionable the disrespectful and inflexible way the government is treating hard-working, conscientious healthcare professionals on this issue. Minister Harris, just like you, we can be stubborn too. I have an outlook that if you're going to be stubborn about something that matters. And there is no issue more important than speaking up for life and freedom of conscience. Every day the numbers keep growing in opposition to the government's abortion bill among healthcare professionals, as doctors and nurses and others come to realise how the new law will impact on them. We are not going to be used as pawns to normalise the taking of innocent human life. The sooner that sinks in, the better, because we will keep going until freedom of conscience is fully respected and proper safeguards are enshrined in law. Like my other colleagues here, I too became a doctor to protect and respect the dignity of every human life and to make life better for people, not to take it away. There is no positive right to conscientious objection in the government's bill. Nil, zilch, nada. There is a pretend freedom of conscience clause, they're okay, but nothing that sincerely protects a healthcare worker's right to conscientiously object. As presently worded, there is nothing stopping employers or medical bodies from placing a duty on GPs to perform abortions. The infamous 1967 Abortion Act in Britain offers greater protections to doctors and healthcare workers than the government's abortion bill being debated right now in the Dáil. Some of the medics who campaigned for the removal of the Eighth Amendment spoke about their fear of being charged or criminalised for doing their job as doctors while the Eighth Amendment was in place. Some even talked about the sword of Damocles hanging over them as they went about their work. There was no reality to the claims they made. In the 35 years that the Eighth Amendment was in the Constitution, not a single doctor was charged because of the Eighth Amendment. It is ironic. It is ironic now to observe some of these same medics who made unfounded claims about how they feared being criminalised under the Eighth Amendment, now actively supporting an abortion bill that will indeed criminalise doctors who have the audacity to exercise a conscientious objection to abortion. I appeal to TDs and senators not to look the other way. If you do, we won't forget your silence at the next election. We represent 34% of the electorate on this issue. That's 1 in every 3 votes. When the public come to realise the full horror of what the new abortion legislation contains, that figure will grow and grow. We need to have resolve, and your presence here this evening shows that we have it in spades. As Martin Luther King says, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. We will not be silent. Thank you all so much for coming. We will never give up the freedom of conscience. We will never give up on protecting life.
Thank you, Kirsten, for your powerful words. I'd like to get you to put your hands together for our next speaker, who is a fantastic nurse from Galway. That's Maria Nie.
Hello everyone, good evening. Great to see you here. It is a chilling reality that the government expects healthcare professionals to switch overnight from protecting the lives of unborn babies to now taking an active role in ending them. As a nurse, I find it extraordinary that the Minister for Health expects us to embrace this change without him or his department ever consulting with nurses or the official bodies that represent us. Under the government's abortion bill, doctors, nurses and other healthcare workers are forced to be involved in abortions when the situation presents. We are compelled to take part even though we know the abortion procedure has nothing to do with authentic healthcare. Donna Mendoza is a registered nurse. 30 years ago, she was born alive after a failed abortion. She was not placed in an incubator or given medical care. Instead, she was put in a shoebox and left to die. Thankfully, she survived and today is a teacher and nurse. Donna told her story in recent days to some TDs. From this, I have a question for Minister Harris. Minister, would you compel Donna as a registered nurse to be involved in abortions and force her to do to others what was done to her? Or are you going to amend your bill so that people like Donna and the rest of us don't lose our jobs when we conscientiously object to being involved in abortions? We demand an answer from you, Minister. Please don't tell us that freedom of conscience is already protected in your bill, because it isn't. While we're awaiting a response from the Minister, I would encourage everyone here to continue to lobby their TDs in the days to come and demand proper freedom of conscience provisions in this new law. And to any of the members of the Oireachtas listening, I appeal to you to take a closer look at this bill and vote against it. It is unlikely that a more important vote will ever take place inside the Dáil. There are doctors, nurses, pharmacists and other healthcare professionals all over Ireland who are terrified about what is going to happen. To everyone here, I would say, please don't abandon them. And to all the healthcare workers present, let's work together and be there for one another as we face these new challenges. Only last week, the Supreme Court in Norway ruled in favour of a female doctor's right to freedom of conscience. So we should never lose hope. This debate has a long way to run. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks very much, Maria. Next, I'd like you to give a big round of applause to our next speaker, who's Dr. Jim Carr, a pharmacist in Drogheda, County Lough. I'm not an activist. I am not a campaigner. I am here tonight because my profession is under attack. I am a pharmacist, and professionally and ethically, I have been trained to care for two patients in pregnancy, the mother and the unborn child. When I treat a pregnant mother, sometimes it means avoiding some drugs that are going to harm the baby. Sometimes it means fine-tuning the dose of other drugs so that the mother and the baby get the best possible care. If this appalling legislation is passed, I and my colleagues will be told that in some cases we should just forget about the baby, pretend she does not exist. More than that, we will be instructed to dispense lethal chemicals to ensure that the baby ceases to exist. Pharmacists like myself who refuse will be forced into a choice between violating our integrity and leaving the professions to which we have given our lives. Pharmacy, medicine, nursing, we're all under assault. healthcare itself is being attacked at its very foundations. At the heart of healthcare is a bond of trust between the patient and the healthcare professional. How can any patient trust a healthcare professional who would be willing to act against their conscience? Tragically, there is already a crisis of trust in Irish healthcare. People don't trust the minister. They don't. They don't trust the healthcare system. They don't trust the faceless bureaucrats who manage the healthcare system. But they do trust frontline workers, the doctors, the nurses, the pharmacists, the allied healthcare staff who work valiantly day and night to protect patients from the ravages of a broken system. Minister Harris's bill will undermine this last bastion of trust, turning healthcare workers from brave champions of patients into obedient functionaries of a heartless ideology. I entered healthcare to care and to cure, to help and to heal. I was not trained to harm or to kill. The minister's bill is a grotesque subversion of the vocation of healthcare. And I, for one, will not be an accomplice in this ideologically driven, state-sponsored barbarism. Killing is not care. Cruelty is not compassion. And I will not betray my patients and my profession by pretending otherwise.
Jim, thanks very much for that stirring speech. Next I'd like to call another great colleague, that's Dr. Aisling Bastable, a GP from County Dublin.
Thank you all for being here this evening. It means so much that you've taken the time to stand united with healthcare workers who are being coerced by the present government to become de facto abortionists. Having proper freedom of conscience protections enshrined in law for all healthcare workers is a mark of a free society. Conscience is a fundamental right under the European Convention of Human Rights and must be protected. It has been incorporated into Irish law since 2003 and includes the right to freedom of thought, religion and conscience. Therefore, we should not be forced as healthcare workers to act against our conscience. It was heartening to see reports yesterday of a new poll from Amorach Research showing that 80% of the public favour freedom of conscience protections for healthcare workers from having to be involved in facilitating abortions. We have a difficult battle ahead of us to secure worthwhile, conscientious objection for everyone working in the healthcare sector: doctors, nurses, pharmacists, midwives, lab technicians, hospital porters, receptionists in GP surgeries, and the list goes on. A vast list of people whose lives will be impacted hugely by the government's new abortion law, and who were never consulted by the Minister for Health or any member of government about the horror of what they are being compelled to sign up to do. The poll results this week at least show that the Minister for Health's claim that there's widespread public support for every detail of what he's doing is false. So we have a question for TDs planning on voting for the government's bill that brings abortion right to the heart of GP practices.
Vote for the pensions, not the bill, the pensions that we're about.
To those TDs we say, would you consider using your constituency office as an abortion clinic? If the idea abhors you, then please don't vote to turn our GP surgeries into abortion clinics. And please don't vote for a bill that forces us to perform non-medical procedures that will end the lives of our fellow human beings. It is a glaring untruth to call abortion healthcare. In addition, the people didn't vote for this extreme and inhumane abortion bill in the referendum.
No.
They voted to remove the Eighth Amendment.
Yes.
Therefore, it is the Oireachtas, not the people, who are responsible for the grotesque bill currently before the door. It is right up there with the most extreme abortion laws anywhere in the world. It even provides for late-term abortions up to birth, even though the Minister for Health and others promised the voters that the bill would not go this far.
Shame on her!
It's a truly appalling indictment of the government that they are refusing to accept amendments to the bill that would, for example, ensure that during late-term abortions, babies would at least be administered pain relief before the procedure happens. There is no excusing such inhumanity.
Shame on her!
The Hippocratic Oath, which says first do no harm, has guided medical ethics for millennia. It has been tossed overboard on a whim by this government, a decision we're supposed to accept without question. That's not going to happen. The number of doctors who made their views known on the GP Buddy survey shows that there's a growing unease at what's happening. There's also many objections among pharmacists, nurses and healthcare workers too. Over 200 doctors are signing a letter to the ICGP demanding that they properly represent doctors when in talks with the government is another sign that the opposition is growing. So what can we do? Keep lobbying your TDs and in the coming days for meaningful amendments to the abortion bill on freedom of conscience. You will never regret the efforts that you make in these days. There are tough times, but we will prevail. Thank you for all being here today.
Aisling, thank you for that powerful speech. Ladies and gentlemen, it would be remiss of us this evening, particularly where we're situated, if we did not sincerely thank those politicians who have stayed supportive of us from the very start and continue us on this journey. Amongst others, Amongst others, those here this evening with us are Padder Tobin, Matty McGrath, Michael Collins, and Ronan Mullen. I don't believe there's a single doctor on either side of this debate who thinks the government's bill allowing unrestricted abortion the first 12 weeks of pregnancy has anything to do with genuine healthcare. The definition of abortion in the bill could not be clearer. It is defined as a procedure intended to end the life of a fetus. Genuine healthcare is about protecting human life, not ending it. What the government claims its bill is about is not what matters. What matters are the actual words contained in the bill, and it's there in black and white. The purpose of the bill is to sanction ending human life, not protect it.
Shame on Harris!
As GPs, the government expects us to ignore the fact that the new bill has nothing to do with evidence-based medicine. We are being asked to surrender our clinical judgment and pretend that what we are being asked to do is healthcare, even though we know it has nothing whatsoever to do with it. Now, if you think that what we're being asked to do sounds crazy, that's because it is crazy. But we are not going to sit back and validate the insanity. We will be respectful, but we will not go quietly. We are not going anywhere. We will stay the course for however long it takes to protect genuine healthcare and not allow it to become corrupted by calling something healthcare that is the furthest thing away from good medicine. It's very reassuring to see the opinion polls this week showing huge public support for proper freedom of conscience protections in the law. And I can tell you there are literally hundreds of GPs and other medics around the country who feel the same way. I'm in contact with many of them, and they are every bit as horrified about what's happening. As GPs, some of us have had the experience of patients coming to us saying, "We owe the life of our child to you." These parents may have contemplated abortion, but their GP was there to support and care for them. Perhaps just a kind word or something more made all the difference, resulting in someone being alive today who otherwise wouldn't. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Simon Harris's abortion bill doesn't leave room for such encounters. In fact, it just stops short of criminalising them. The government's bill is designed to trigger a chain of events that ensures abortions take place with conveyor belt speed whenever a request for one is made. And the bill forces GPs to step forward to perform the abortion or else arrange for it to happen. Now, I didn't become a doctor to end human life. Quite the opposite. I became a doctor to do my utmost to protect life and care for all my patients, born and unborn, and that is never going to change. I will never serve a law that compels me to end the life of another human being, and I'm happy to say that a significant number of my colleagues feel the same way. If the government doesn't enshrine proper freedom of conscience protections, then a lot of GPs will walk away from their jobs rather than cooperate with such an unjust law. There is already a shortage of GPs, particularly in rural areas. If doctors are forced to become abortionists in their surgeries, then the government will be looking at even fewer GPs in the country. That is presently the case. Now, I want to make it clear, we will not be bullied or coerced by anybody, Simon Harris, Leo Varadkar, anybody, into going against our conscience. It's as simple as that. reaches a point where GPs have to leave general practice, it will be a sad day for Ireland. Areas will lose some of the finest GPs in the country, and I don't think the government has thought this one through at all. I feel they'll realise it when it's too late. We have to lobby extra hard to ensure it does not come to that. The battle to protect the right of freedom of conscience will likely take time, but as long as we have the resolve to keep pressing forward, we can and will succeed. Ladies and gentlemen, let's agree that tonight is the start of something, not the end. And I want to thank you all for turning out in such numbers. Your presence here has given us genuinely huge encouragement. And I want to encourage people to stick around afterwards and for us to get to know each other and to share notes about how to press forward. So Muila Buekas to Gaka Ina.
What you think? How's the sound still working away? I'll give you a back view there of the demonstration as they live. Still a good turnout.
All we want is conscience. Freedom of conscience. That you can say, no, sorry, this is against my conscience.
So there you have it. How's the 5x5? Good sound check. I think there's a good crowd. I'll keep the show. I'll keep this broadcast short and simple. I encourage you to share it. Don't forget to smash the like button, and share this on your Twitter feed. Share this on all your social media presence if you're of a mind. And don't forget to just push it on for other people so that they get to see this. You know, there's a good turnout here. Hopefully the sound is a little bit better this time. Like I say, if you push in some contributions towards the channel, I am able to upgrade and I'm able to get some better sound equipment. People are huddling. I might see if I can grab someone. See if anyone's willing to chat with me. You know, some people are a little bit stage fright, get a little bit of stage fright. But thanks for all the great comments there as well. I'll give you one more quick view before I check out, but don't forget, smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, press subscribe, and don't forget to press the little blue bell and you'll be reminded of future broadcasts, any further things like this, and I'll make my presence felt and I'll let you know that what's going on. So just have one more quick look around before we sign off. Good crowd. Cheers, bro.
Watch your work on YouTube,
oh, thanks very much.
Appreciate all
you want to say a few words to the people on the live chat?
I'd be nervous enough, man, to be honest.
You don't mind showing your face on the live chat, then?
Sure, will it be on YouTube, yeah?
Well, go on there, yeah. I don't know how's the sound there.
Yeah.
How was the demonstration? It's a great bit of turnout.
I don't know, I was expecting maybe more, but at the same time...
Well, it's a start, as you said, it's a start, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think we need to kick on from here, but the fact we're even in this position in the first place...
It's a horrible thing, isn't it?
Me off, yeah.
Like, just hearing some of the words there as well, like the legislation, and no pre-anaesthetic for the fetus or anything like that, just a pure abortion. I've seen Niall O'Mahony posted up the YouTube from Renewa, and some of the legislation is going to allow for post-birth abortion. That can go on about effectively in the terminology. I'll say it here while we got some sound. In the terminology in the legislation, it's that if the baby doesn't breach, then it's not a full-term baby. It's still a fetus, so it doesn't have any right to protection. So what they do is they invert the pregnancy, bring the body out, and leave the head inside, and then kill the baby inside.
Sick,
still a fetus.
It's absolutely
and
sick.
that's these fuckers in here trying
to
pull the wool over our eyes now. For me, this is abortion. It's just another assault on the Constitution. That's what I'm trying to talk about people.
Well, yourself
we
and
have
Tom
to
Waters
protect.
had a really interesting
And I have another one coming out on Friday.
Great stuff. Brilliant.
So we're there,
keep it up. Like I said, you're doing a great job. And
Appreciate that.
A lot of people there that mightn't be on the streets vocally supporting you, but behind the scenes they definitely
Happy days,
are.
Happy days.
Keep it going.
Thanks, brothers.
Look after yourself, right?
Appreciate that, brother. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. See, that was very unexpected. So look, I'm going to sign off just so the broadcast hits about 35 minutes, okay? So 5 by 5, us brothers and sisters, us. How do I sign off, says you? Okay, I'll sign off.